Today's story is about Alexis Avila, an 18-year-old young woman who lived with her parents in the city of Hobbs, New Mexico, in the United States. On Friday, January 7th of this year, around 7:45 p.m., three people identified as Michael Green, Hector Gesso, and April Medown were checking the dumpster at the Broadmoor Shopping Center in Hobbs, near the Texas border, looking for something of value until they found something they never would have imagined. The police received a call from a man who sounded quite shaken.
Yes, we just found the baby in the trash behind the... What? Hey, seriously, where are we at? Where's the mall? Is it breathing in the goddamn trash? Yes, ma'am.
I just found the baby in the damn trash. It's whimpering. Actually, it wasn't crying. I was looking for some things in the dumpster, and we heard something, but I didn't know it was a baby. I thought it was a cat. Then you can hear the voice of a woman who was next to the man, mentioning that the baby was very weak, freezing, and still had the umbilical cord attached to its body. You could even hear the baby's faint cry in the background of the phone call. This baby was wrapped in a bath towel that was dirty, wet, and had dried blood on it. At the start of the investigation, surveillance footage from a store captured the entire incident, showing the three people standing next to a truck, checking the container as they found a black garbage bag. And when they opened it, after hearing those cries they thought were from a cat, there was the baby. Then, the woman who was with these men took the baby out and put it in the truck to try to regulate its temperature. At the same time, one of the other men was on the phone, actually making the call to 911. Fortunately, the police arrived minutes later, although by that time, the baby had actually been there for hours. The baby was attended to at the scene and urgently taken to the hospital for treatment. Thanks to this, by the following Monday, the baby was already stable, although he had been diagnosed with hypothermia. The baby had been in the trash at -1 degree Celsius for about 6 hours. But thanks to the surveillance cameras at the Rig Outfitters and Home Store, the person responsible for the incident was found quite quickly. Immediately, the video that was found went viral in the media, and in it you can see a white car that, around 2 in the afternoon on Friday, stops next to the dumpster. A woman, identified as Alexis Avila, is seen getting out from the driver's seat, opening the back door, and taking a black garbage bag from the seat. After this, she brutally throws it into the dumpster, gets back into the vehicle, and quickly drives away from the scene. Thanks to these images, they were able to obtain a partial license plate, which later allowed them to reach the Avila family's home, where her parents identified their daughter as the person driving the vehicle. After the police told the parents the reason for their investigation, they agreed to take Avila to the police station. On the other hand, besides this video, there was more evidence incriminating her. The search warrants for Avila's car and her family's house turned up evidence of blood, clothing, and a towel. The teenage mother stated that she went to the doctor on January 6th because of abdominal pain and constipation, and it was that same day that she found out she was pregnant. After this doctor's visit, the teenager reportedly began experiencing more intense stomach pains the next day and ended up giving birth in her parents' bathroom, without telling anyone, of course.
I went to the clinic, and they did a urine test and told me I was pregnant, and that's when I found out. I took 2 tests, one was positive, one was negative. I took the negative one. I went to the restroom. I was in pain. I was up all night going. I was asleep, and I go to the restroom at all hours of the night.
After this, the young woman confessed that she panicked because she didn't know she was pregnant and also didn't know what to do or who to call. So a few hours after giving birth, she got into a car that was caught on surveillance cameras, drove around thinking about what to do, and finally decided to throw the baby into the trash container.
I had 2 trash bags, and then I drove around and I didn't know what to do, and I just put it in there. Just turned 18. I haven't been 18 for a month. A trash bag, in panic. I just turned 18.
Obviously, one of the biggest questions in this case, as in other similar ones, is why and under what circumstances did she think of doing this? Avila tried to justify everything that had happened by saying that she was in shock. According to the police chief, when she was asked what she thought would happen to her baby after leaving him in the dumpster, she remained silent and couldn't answer. She also confessed the identity of the baby's father, named Steven, with whom she had had a relationship that ended in late 2021. I really can't tell you much about this person because, in fact, he is a minor and that's why several details are protected. So, on January 8th, Avila was arrested for attempted homicide and then released on bail 2 hours later after posting an unsecured bond of $10,000.
I heard the baby is okay. Okay.
It took almost 20 minutes during the interview for Avila to even ask how the baby was doing.
If the baby is okay, I want it.
The ex-boyfriend, the baby's father, now has custody of the boy. He claims Avila told him that she had a miscarriage.
After a trial that lasted several days, during which the public defender argued that this woman's actions were not intentional and tried to justify this by claiming that the defendant had an undiagnosed mental illness that played an important role in her behavior, the jurors found her guilty. Even the US authorities determined that the woman has some kind of mental illness, but let's say, despite this, they concluded that the crime had been completely intentional and violent. On Monday, March 28, 2022, Alexis Avila was sentenced to 16 years in prison with 2 years of probation for attempted murder and child abuse because the baby had various injuries. It was Judge William Showbridge who handed down the sentence after a jury convicted her of first-degree attempted murder. Judge William Shewbridge told Avila that, if it hadn't been for luck and divine mercy, he would be handing down a sentence in a murder case, since it was very likely that the baby would have died if not for those 3 people who, by chance, by absolute chance, found him in the dumpster that winter day. On the other hand, the judge also ordered that Avila continue with treatment, medication, and her higher education while serving her sentence. He said, "You have given yourself a life sentence for knowing what you did to your son, and you have also given your son the same life sentence. And that is something as hard to deal with as any amount of time you might spend in prison." In court, the victim's mother, Alexis, expressed her regret for her actions. "I regret that his first hours of life were traumatic, and I regret that he will always carry that burden and will think that I don't love him for whatever reason and whatever he hears. But that's not true at all. I really do love him truly. I know what I did was wrong, and the only person I truly need to apologize to is my baby. Currently, the baby is stable at the hospital in Lubbock, Texas, thanks to medical care, oxygen supply, and a blood transfusion. The baby is under the custody of the New Mexico Department of Children, Youth, and Families. And although the police chief scheduled an interview with the baby's father, for now it is unknown what will happen to him in the long term. The paternal grandfather has expressed his determination to fight for custody of the child. Oscar Astorga, 50 years old, is willing to take care of the baby. Astorga stated that his son, Steven, 16 years old, is the father. The grandfather claimed that his son was unaware that his ex-girlfriend was pregnant. The child's paternal family found out about the situation after the media made the case public. In light of all this, Joe Imbriale, the owner of the store, the one with the security camera that revealed everything, plans to launch a GoFundMe campaign to help the baby. This man, before they could check the cameras when the whole incident happened, had to watch as the police searched the trash can and, in fact, he asked a female officer what was going on, what they were looking for. And when they told him that, in fact, by that point they were already looking for the person who had thrown a black garbage bag into the trash can, he asked them to please tell him that it wasn't a baby inside that black bag. And when they replied that yes, they had indeed found a baby, he started to cry. And it wasn't just him. This brought several people at the scene to tears. Definitely, this act was quite sinister, even though the baby turned out to be alive, which is truly remarkable. The Avila case then touched the entire country, and the state's safe haven law became the center of attention for a long time, since, in case you didn't know, that law allows a person to legally surrender a baby no more than a week old at authorized locations such as a fire station or a hospital, without facing legal consequences and without being questioned by officials. It is implemented specifically so that, in this case, for example, that mother does not feel that she will be taken to court, that she does not feel she will face criminal charges if she does it this way. At the same time, with this law, a baby can be saved. And in fact, this type of law began to be implemented for the first time in state legislatures in the United States in the early 2000s, as a response to the constant reports of baby murders and abandonments that were being received. In 2022, lawmakers in New Mexico passed a bill to expand the state's safe haven program and allocate funds for the construction of a baby box, which would allow for the anonymous surrender of babies in each county. Basically, the goal is to provide distressed mothers with a safe place to surrender their unwanted newborns instead of leaving them, as happens here, in a trash can or on the side of the road. After the impact of the case, the city of Hobbs announced that it is preparing to install a device called a baby box, where a newborn baby can be safely and anonymously surrendered. Going a bit deeper, the baby box, or its literal translation, the baby box, is a box installed in the exterior wall of a hospital or fire station, with an exterior door that is programmed to automatically lock when a newborn is placed inside, and an interior door that allows a medical staff member to secure the surrendered newborn from inside the designated building. That way, no one sees each other's faces, no one knows who left the baby there, and besides, it locks immediately. Therefore, it can't be undone. But anyway, tell me what you think about it. I think many of you already knew about this case, and in fact I'm covering it because so many people requested it everywhere. Goodbye.